Avon Community Schools decided to partner with us in
last year, probably in January, where we kind of started the process.
Did
I
I?
think.
I tested my memory publicly and it worked
That's
out.
pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. So Susie, if you want to kind of take it from
Sure.
here and kind of talk about some of the funding aspects.
Okay, all right, so I'm Susie Hurd, I'm the Director of Special Ed for Avon Community Schools. And I've known Scott for several years through iCase. So when Angie this morning was talking about our
Vendors.
thank you, our vendors are really important. You can really form great just partnerships and relationships with him. We hadn't bought anything for a long time. I was in another district before, and we had some splinter things through TeachTown, but hadn't done the whole platform for our students. And so I've known Scott for a long time. And hi, how are you? And we talk. So I would give a plug for that, because there is going to come a time where like there's somebody at iCase, a vendor who can I help, call for Medicaid billing, or who has a program for our life skills students where we need to really beef it up. So I encourage those who are new to this and first time at iCase to really collect those business cards, start making those connections, because it will help you down the road. But anyway, so Lori and I, this is my third year in Avon. I was a director in Mooresville for several years before that. And last year, about the last year and a half, we really started looking at our curriculum for our K-8 students in a life skills program. Our high school does an amazing job. It's known around the whole Indianapolis area for transitioning kids, getting them out in the community, out in the classrooms. But we really felt like we just kind of had some splinter programming for our students. And the teachers were like, well, this is good, but I got to create this other piece. And so we really started talking to Scott about, okay, tell us what this whole TeachTown platform looks like. I will say you get a little bit of a sticker shock with price, because it's an investment. It's expensive, it's an investment. But we knew that our teachers needed something to reach their kids at all these levels that they have in their classrooms. And TeachTown was that platform that we thought really for the investment, it would be long-term investment, and it's really good programming for our kids. So, a blessing out of COVID is that we got lots of money. And so through the education fund, we had the ESSERS funding. And then as through Part B dollars, we also got ARP dollars. So you all are with me on that? Some of you who do your budget or whatever, your grants. So we got quite a bit of money. We have about $1,750 is our December 1 count for our special education population. So we got quite a few dollars in that ARP 611, 619, and we decided we were going to take about $50,000 and earmark it for TeachTown. I think what we did was we engaged in a 5-year contract. Am I right on that?
Yep.
So we were able to kind of spread it out as well. And so we decided we're going to go in. Here's this money. It's a great investment. It's kind of a one-time that I have it. And so this is what we're going to do. And so we were able to fund this program through those dollars. Some of the other monies that I've tapped into for extra supports, like we needed new either smart boards or touch screen, those interactive boards. We did have, long before I went to Avon, they had smart boards, and so they're super antiquated and didn't always work right, and one worked in one room and one didn't in another room. And so we really had to figure that piece out. And we were really lucky that those ESSERS funds, our curricular director gave special ed quite a bit of money out of his ESSERS funds, and so that's how we purchased those touch screen, interactive screen TVs. We went with those over smart boards. Just felt in the long run, working with our technology department, it was going to be much more user friendly and probably easier on our technology department to manage. So we have ordered those. I think we may have just gotten them in. And so those are going to be our interactive board. So I know if you don't have any access or even knowledge of your ESSERS funds in your district, but you have access to the person who controls it, see if there's money. Like, that money has to be spent, at the end of each. There's 3 pools of money. And so at the end of every fiscal year, wherever that date is, they have to spend it. And so see where they are if you're thinking about, investing in something big here, because this is a great investment for your kids and great for your teachers. They are super happy with the product. They love, Lori's gonna talk to you. She's got some slides with the kids, what they're doing with this curriculum. And so it's really been, they're a great partner.
We also leveraged textbook rental fees as well
Yeah.
as a funding source. So there are manipulatives and book libraries and things that are physical goods, and we did use our textbook rental to do some of those things.
And we're a 1-to-1 district as well. And so with some of our older kids, not our K1, 2, 3, they don't have laptops, but our older kids, so we started leveraging fees through that as well to help kind of bring some money back in towards that. But Scott is a great person to have a connection with. He is no pressure kind of person, has never put any pressure, but like I said, I've worked with him and just known him over the years through iCase, and there came a time where I was like, I could just call him up, hey, let's do this, let's look into this. So if you ever have any questions about that funding source or how to get creative with that, feel free to shoot me an email. Scott, if you get his number, he can get you in touch with me, give you my email or phone number, whatever, and I can just tell you some creative things we've done with funding. I know it's a lot harder when you're in a small district, because I came from a district that was half the size or even less than Avon. So I understand sometimes those funding pools are not super deep. So I'm happy to just engage with you on things that I've done in the past as well.
Well, thank you, Susie. Yeah. And what I'll say is that, we work with districts big and small. I'm up in Michigan, and I work with some of the districts up in the Thumb area. They have districts that have like 2 special education teachers, right? And we found a way to work with some of the smaller districts too. So whether you're big or small or in between, we work with everybody. And just to kind of underscore what Susie said, there's gonna be times that you might see emails or phone calls from folks like me, and sometimes that's just gonna go straight to the trash. That's fine, that's gonna happen, right? But like Susie said, just opening up that dialogue and developing relationships with folks like me sometimes means that, weeks, months, even years down the road, sometimes some of those relationships kind of pay off in unexpected ways when new needs arise, and you already have that relationship when you're already aware of the different companies and what they do and what they provide. So I do invite you into that conversation. So thank you so much. And so
sure.
Lori, if you want to kind of take it from here and talk about the use side of things.
So we started out with a pilot with our teachers. So Scott was nice enough to provide us with some materials that we could use, and so we did pilot in the months of January, February, and March, so then we could make a recommendation to the board. I got teacher surveys completed. They all loved it. We saw good interaction with our students and stuff. So it was a process in getting this approved and working with our board, but we had lots of input from our teachers and also from parents. I surveyed parents. They all had access during the pilot to see what their kids were working on, and they all had good, excellent things to say about it as well. So we have now been officially implementing since the start of the year. So we're still in, our beginning levels, but I can say one of our challenges as a district is we've greatly increased our numbers, both the district as a whole and in our life skills population. So we went from 2 elementary life skills classes for our entire district to having 5 within a year and a half. And they're all completely still growing. So we needed to get more in line and working together as a team. And those teachers are now doing a professional learning community together, doing common planning, using the TeachTown materials, implementing it across the board in all schools so it's an equitable experience for our students and not just whatever the teacher is pulling out. So we are really happy about that as well. So in looking, I thought the best thing to tell you is just words directly from our teacher. So this comes from one of our teachers, Lexi, and she said, one of the things that stuck out to me was we were doing a lesson, and this was with a nonverbal student who has Down syndrome. She fully participated in this whole lesson, which is for her a great accomplishment. She typically does not attend to a task longer than 3 minutes. She followed along on every page. When the wolf in the story came up, she was able to engage with that material by making a face and interacting. You know, even though she doesn't have words, she was still, you could see that she was understanding the information. She was thrilled to see her participating, following along, enjoying the story, and remembering the details without prompting. So that was just a very specific anecdote that she shared with me. And then overall, my students love the stories and do a great job grasping the concept through the interactive activities. So when they talk about software, know that it's not just software. There are teaching pieces and interactive pieces and hands-on things as well. So there's both components there, which is something we really value. Kathy says, I was so excited about how many resources TeachTown offers. I can have reading, math, science, and social studies at my fingertips. I don't have to kind of go to all these different sources to get that. It's all there. They're colorful, engaging. They're differentiated lessons that can be taught for different ability levels. And the students are engaged with the online aspect too. So we run structured teaching in our classrooms. We use the teach model. And so we might have a student doing independent work with their device while the teacher is working at the teacher table, and those things are linked together through TeachTown. And so the students learning at their level what they could be independent at, and then also getting that direct instruction. Very engaged. Elementary teacher Riley, she was new to our district and didn't get to do the pilot, and so this was a kind of an outsider's experience of just coming in and starting with it, but love TeachTown, love the different programs that allow us to implement through different stations in our classroom. We use the Encore curriculum, which Scott mentioned there are different pieces within TeachTown. So Encore is kind of your basic core curriculum. So we use Encore in one station, allows us to teach the topics in student-led sessions, and then Basics, where they can then practice basic skills. So we have 2 levels going on, 2 different programs of TeachTown happening. And then they also shouted out just the help that they've received. So there was a question they submitted, and they got a video response back from TeachTown. So it's not just only, here's the answer, but here's a video that shows you how to do that process. So that's really helpful too, what we felt that supports. And they just both, all 3 of these ladies said, there's just so much in there that we never run out of things to do. And then we also have an intermediate structure within Avon. So we have K4, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8, and then high school. So we've adopted it in all those buildings except high school. So this is from our 5, 6 building, and Liz says, you know, she really loves the manipulatives. It's a great way to teach fractions. So she just sent a picture showing using some of the materials, and that the students are really engaged with the science lesson. She's really dove head on into some science and social studies in particular with the kids, because as they get older, and you know, those are things they can do that make them feel included. And in the technology piece, the students are really motivated by using technology and devices, just like their general education peers. So we started this year assigning our students laptops at this level. They don't necessarily go home, but they're available for use in the classroom. And then when they are interacting, they see all the other students, their typical peers, using them the same way. They're invested in kind of looking and being like their peers. And so this is a nonverbal student with significant issues, but she loves being included in with that technology. It's a real hook for her. And so just having that ability to have both the direct teaching with the library and the manipulatives and all that, as well as the technology piece, kind of supporting different needs of your kids. So that's our success stories so far. Any questions for me about teacher experience or? All right.
Going once, going twice. Thank you so much, Lori. So Lori